before. But now that I got a new group, maybe they could look at it. And it's a thing that I just said, yeah, that's what they're going to do. They're going to try to economize, right? I'm talking about the world government as they grow. Someone's going to figure out that, yeah, we could economize this thing remotely, right? And they're going to do something that is going to be harmful. And I'll show you. Let's see. Yeah, I'll show you how harmful this is by showing you. Get my blackboard out. So to be seen, I've been working that Kingdom of God stuff because it's important, and I don't have anything else to do, right? I have all these solutions that are being taken up, I think, right? I think you guys are doing them because Colonel Thunder wouldn't have left them alone, right? I gave it to him. He must have gave it to you guys before he went into hiding. And, you say, well, that was Colonel Thunder's. No, it was mine. I gave it to Colonel Thunder. That's why he contacted me. So I'm empty and, resentful and all this other shit. So I'm waiting for my money to come, right? And you guys might be waiting because there's going to be a big crash in the economy, so that you're waiting for it to go back up, and that's fine. But you can feed me, source me a little bit, so I can make it through the hump, right? I'm just as worried as anybody else. Okay, so this is a problem that we're gonna get. We're gonna get trapped in if we don't react, if we don't start thinking about this. So the Chinese and other countries have developed a way to economize your home. Because they figured out, well, in these peak hours of the summer, we'll turn your thermostat down. And, if this happens, we'll turn that down. We'll turn your gas down. We won't give you a shower head that trickles out water, right? So what's going to happen is this human, and let's just pretend that's you, is going to be in this box, and the government is going to be controlling this box, right? It'll be making it smaller, hotter, colder, and we'll be living essentially in a place where we're getting poked, moved, temperature up and down, because the economy, or the state, wants to economize, because that's what the name of the game is for the rest of our existence, is to economize, right? Make this planet last longer. So they're going to want to control it. Well, they're going to want to economize the society, but the only way that they're going to economize is through the machines, right? So imagine you here, where you pulled a hard one, and you have, you're recovering from a drunk, and they turn the air conditioner down in the summer, right? Where you can't stand that, or you're taking a shower and the nozzle stops because they've done their quota, right? So that's hell. That's not freedom. That's hellish. And you're in a box most of the time, and they're going to control that box, not because they want to make you suffer. It's because that's the only way that they're going to be able to economize and make it work. You understand? So that's a problem. And you say, well, so what, Jer? I'm not a builder. I'm fintech, right? We do other things. And I say, yes, sir, I know. And good to have you, Brad, back, here at the White House. And we sure appreciate your good humor. And yeah. So I'm glad. I hope he gets in there. He's a good guy. I don't know him, right? I gooped on him a lot when I was heavy into XRP, and he's a good sport, and he's he breezes through his life because he's so congenial. Everybody loves this guy, and he can talk his way out of anything, right? He's had to you know, get people looking this way because this is happening, and he's smooth, right? So I admired him from the beginning, and so every time, you know, he's going up to a tough interview, I'd say, let's see how he does it, right? Because you can find out what Ripple's doing if you look at him long enough, you know. And then when they go into the press, they have to say something else. But he was a pro. So every time I see him, I say, "There's Brad, my MVP, perfect game," because these guys don't get a lot of praise, right? When you're a leader, executive, you don't get awards, and they don't rally around you to say, "Hey, good on you, man." Maybe they do it the back rows, but every once in a while, I like to praise the the arrogant leaders. So what was I saying? Okay, so that's going to be a problem, right? And it's just like I've been thinking about this. Yeah, that's what they're going to do, and we're gonna have to have an alternative for that, or else they'll do it, and they won't have to tell anybody. Your thermometer is a smart thermometer, and on, right? So along comes David Schwartz, and he comes out and starts talking about micropayments, right? And immediately I said, yeah, that's it. That is what we need, right? It was almost like the crypto world was meant for finding micropayments because they're so important. Because micropayments could be done on systems, right? Here's a train, Alaska to South America, and they could have micropayments as this thing cruises along and pay off all these step payments. Why? Because the resource-based economy needs fast payments. Because if it's slow like this, they can't make decisions and shoot it out to the other side of the world when there's a big lag in it, right? And that was a big problem for getting a resource-based economy. Which, guys, I think they're putting something together like that, right? Klaus's fourth industrial revolution was that. They never said anything, but I think that's the case because they're building towards it. And I could be wrong, but the kingdom of God is the same way, right? The throne room is this. Things come in, decisions, things move out. So the micropayments are critical for this thing to work. And they're also critical for something else, and this is what I want to tell you. Okay, so you could have a process that has a micropayment attached to the KPI, let's say, key performance indicator. And it will pay these things automatically. And the good thing about these micropayments, other than they're being fast, is that people could understand it, right? 1 kilogram for 1 minute or whatever. So the micropayment is paid on a stable number, right? So people don't have to convert this and that. And you could have them for a process, for a manufacturing process. So this gets paid and this company gets paid, right? And there's no paperwork, and it's done quickly. But it also could be used as a KPI, and that's where I'm getting at. So instead of having the machine dictate how warm, how cold it is refrigerator working, and we're going to get air conditioning, it's done by these micropayments. Because why? The people, and that's us, look at the micropayments and they understand the value, right? 1 minute, 1 kilogram. And they can for themselves decide how they're going to make their home efficient, right? So they could play around with it here, and they're in control. There's no machine, torturing them with the things going up and down. And it's efficient because they are monitoring it, because they know what the KPI is, right? Oh man, my electricity bill is this, and then it can be compared to all the other homes because they're running off the same KPI, which is 1 kilogram for 1 unit or whatever. It's the same. So what are we saving? We're saving ourselves from being trapped as a slave, or a mouse in a box, with the machines dictating efficiencies for the individual. This way, the individual dictates the efficiency of his pocketbook, right? And if we don't have this, if we don't have a solution to this, the people that are building the world government are just going to do this because they know it's easy, right? There's a big thermostat here, and it goes to 75. We want everyone at 60, run out of energy, and then we are trapped. It'll be like torture. You're not going to die, right? But imagine you day by day, every day, for weeks, years, months, are being pushed around. It's too hot where you're standing, so you'll move to the shade. It's too cold, I'll move to this. That kind of thing. We'll really feel the machine working on us if we do it that way. So, what do? Well, I got to tell these guys, these prima donnas who don't listen because they already know what they're doing. These fat cats who don't think of anything but how to please the devil. No, I'm kidding, guys. I mess around with you too much. It's because I have low self-esteem. I say I got that little man syndrome. So every time I see these high performers, I bash on them. And I have, and I got to take some time to talk about this. So, what I've been doing is I've been wire brushing you guys, because there was a unraveling of the team, right? And I said, yeah, what's wrong with these guys? Fights and going against Trump, and I said, yeah, they're falling, right? They're storming. In the team business, you get together and you're excited, and then you're not in the right position. You don't like this, so you start to jab at each other. And then I knew the solution to it, so I said, I'm thinking in my mind, yeah, these guys are falling apart, and I know how to fix it, I know how to fix it. I've done it before. And I was saying, yeah, I'll do it, because it's tough to do this, right? Because you ostracize yourself, and the guy that should be doing it, I don't want him ostracized, right? I like him. So I told him, I said, I'm going to do this, and who knows if anybody reads my posts, right? I don't know if anybody does, but in my mind I'll say, yeah, I told him. So if I get in trouble, he'll say, yeah. And so what I've been doing is, I'd be doing a talk, and then when I'm almost done with it, I'll switch over, getting mad at how, your prima donna is doing this and that, and I start lobbing insults at him. Not so much performance insults at him, because that's what a team should be working on. And the idea is that you got these prima donnas that are, walking around like peacocks and pecking at each other. You want them to crash, right? The team is dysfunctional, and if you let this dysfunction go too long, then they'll lose interest and leave, and that's how divorces happen, right? You have unresolved issues in your relationship, and you keep it, you don't address them, and the partners lose interest because it digs on them, right? You don't know why you hate your wife. Well, it's because these unresolved issues, and you could only last so long with that before one leaves. So whenever you see that, you have to break it down. You have to come to a breaking point where you connect with each other in a different relationship, right? Maybe the woman was too controlling, and then they have to break it down to where it's a proper relationship, and you're supposed to do that every 7 years. But that's what I was doing, and I was laughing at, after I'd finish a big zinger, I'd crack up, and then I'd get back into character. But I think I might have stepped on toes when you do that, right? Because they don't know what I'm fucking doing. They don't even know who I am. And to insult these superstars, right? And they are superstars, guys. They're exceptional players. I've noticed. And now that I'm not around, I'm thinking, yeah, fucking these guys are gonna have these guys are not gonna like me or accept me at all, which is okay, right? Because I'm on my own now. So, I just wanted to say that, and I've been doing it a lot. Letting myself get angry because I don't have any traction with any of you, right? So being nice and being angry, well, let's just shift it back and forth and see if I can get someone to do something. So I've been doing that, but I also said that I'm not going to get involved and help. That's what I said. I'm not going to be able to help you guys anymore, right? And that was the reason why, is that I get too involved in it, and then I become part of the scene, so to speak, and then everyone doesn't know how to relate to me, right? Like when I came up with that, how to reduce the government regulations, and it was easy as, guys, and I submitted it on behalf of Elon, and no one looked at it, and I'm thinking, well, why aren't they looking at it? Well, Jerry, you're not even fucking part of this. They don't even know who you are, right? And so I have to stop that, because I enjoy working with this team, right? I'd do anything to hang out with JD, do something, but it's not, it's not, it's not a summer school, right? You guys are fighting a big fight, and I just need to figure out how to stay out of it, right? So that's what I'm doing. I'm going to concentrate on the kingdom of God, because that's what I'm here for, right? Or I pour out my life to bring down His kingdom. That's my calling, and so I'm going to keep people abreast of it. But I also have other things that are going to need to be taken care of, like the town halls, right? And I have a feeling that you guys have it already. You guys are working it already, and it's you probably modified it to do it the way you do it. And I just need to get paid. If that's a fact, I need to get paid for the AI, which is a $14 trillion industry. But I'm not looking for that, guys. I want a settlement. And it's not going to work without me anyway, right? Elisha means my God is He. My God is He. Why did they make that name? Because I'm the guy that has the seed of Elijah in it, right? I got organic intelligence flowing through me. That's why I do these auto paints. That's why I'm so psychic. That's why I know everything, because organic intelligence flowing through me into my mind and out with these concepts that are meant to be on this earth. But you don't look at them because it's not your idea. I can't spell. I didn't put it in PowerPoint. So you lose out. And these things are going to come back and bite you, because you don't know that there's a tsunami of pain coming, right? We're going to go into a crisis where these people are going to be out in the streets, and there's going to be no FEMA coming, right? Because they stopped it. And it's going to be all over, right? So imagine Katrina, but all over the country. And you're going to be sitting there flat-footed, looking at your shoes, while the king is saying, what are we going to do? What do we got going? Elon, right? And everyone's going to go to Elon, because he's built himself up as a can-do guy, and he isn't. He built himself up as a guy that's going to save the world, and he isn't, because he doesn't know how to do it, right? You know, hey, we're going to have to figure out how to do our adverts. We want to get people to buy things when they're on X. So I come up with a plan, and he doesn't touch it. Why? Because he's not involved in it. He pretends like he's running the show, but he's not. Right? He can't. He's a a floor room salesman for all these high tech things, and he can't go into a meeting and figure out how to fix the advert revenue, right? So, I get mistaken all the time, but what's going to happen is people are going to mistake him as a guy that's going to fix things. And he's going to be pushed up like he always does. And he'll say, yep, okay, next job. Where do you want me to stand? And what are my sound bites? And they're going to be looking at him while the world's in crisis, and he's not going to be able to act. Because he doesn't know. Right? Where's my bullet for this? Where's my what did I say here? Makeup? No, kidding you. But you are. They spread you thin. Why? Because you're a magnet, and you got all this experience in marketing or manufacturing, and you don't spending any time doing it. So anyway, what am I talking about? Okay, so that's that. Someone needs to keep that in their back pocket, or develop a little KPIs for micro